Welcome to Onivia, League of Legends highlights. These are the best highlights from today's LCK matchup.
This is Zeus, who's pulling the Renekton, pushing the wave in is, okay, here we go.
Yeah, Pyosik fighting against Ona here, who does manage to steal this one away. There's a lightning rush over. The stun comes out immediately, though, from Perfect. And Pyosik gonna get smashed into the ground. The flash out from Ona as well, as now Zeus is in an extraordinarily uncomfortable position. Seismic Shove is going to miss, and oh my goodness, is it going to work? The turret! Oh, he was almost out of there.
Almost out of there, but it is going to be a 1-for-1 in the end. As we just got he is losing more and more farm, is completely zoned off. You've got to make this work, Pyosik. 3-6 is going to be tough.
Yep, Slicing Maelstrom is going to be used on the minion wave, and now Perfect just trying to get towards it, wants to get the mana wants to get the experience, as Ona was tanking this one up. We've got dives everywhere, though, as Beryl goes in and straight up whiffs. That's going to be the crash down from Carrier to try and buy some space, and Gumayusi should be falling here somehow. It almost worked, but it is going to be the 1-for-2, and T1 just kind of winning everywhere.
Yeah, this is a disaster for He has flash and his ultimate, so even with Pyosik ulting him, he can just then turn on the stuns and say no.
Right now, there's a Magnet Storm and a Bullet Time, and Featherstorm does need to be used. In comes Ona, though, as that's Beryl almost surviving. Deft also being able to get a fair bit of damage back, as now BDD throws down the wall. Carrier going to knock him off. That's going to be so much damage onto this Talia. And Seismic Shove is going to miss. BDD has to flash to get out after being the one theoretically engaged.
Here, I mean, Guma just does so much damage. Carrier is set up for this. It's the easiest combo in the book. Meanwhile,
yep, Seismic Shove is going to be utilized here. The Renekton-Talia combination, some Shuriman friends are going to be able to take down the little Pikachu guy, as T1 now looking to try and answer, but Beryl pretty slippery. Does have Blast Cone 30 CS ahead.
Yeah, he does have Teleport as well. Right now, Perfect is proxying, but a more present issue is what's happening down here in the bottom lane. He is going to commit the teleport. This will be seen by the wave, and Perfect still has his, but they're not going to be able to contest the dragon. He will not be teleporting to the opposite side of the map here post 10 minutes. Just head back to the top lane instead.
Well, Pyosik really wants to kill Gumayusi, and he is just going to press the button and go for it. The quickness is down as well. Gumayusi is extraordinarily dead. That kill is going to go over to Deft at the same time, and so KT, we mentioned making some ground. This is going to be building upon it.
Opposition for T1 because, okay, we'll see something before that.
Yep, Perfect is just going to pre-dominance and try and keep himself alive, and it ain't going to work at all. Zeus presses his R button and just zaps him down. As Leandri's doing some work here, and this item advantage is just
almost got all.
Be able to get those.
Yeah, should still be able to get the turret here before Deft does.
Yeah.
And that is going to be first turret going over to the Kennen, who was able to get a ton of plate gold, 375 plus the kills.
Beryl can actually get these exhausts in the right times in these team fights. And it's all just going to hinge on that. And even then, I think maybe he's just too strong, you know? As Beryl's moving on over, just being a little bit frustrating here, as this Cloud Drake is going to be secured. It's an ocean.
You know, when you
we haven't really seen anything to show us how the shape of this game is going to look as it goes on, right? Because we haven't seen any sort of 5v5, any sort of setup. I really am intrigued as to whether or not, KT can make it work, as I've seen this on the top side of the map. It's going to happen once again as there's the flash forward from Perfect. He avoids the Emperor's Divide, and then Pyosik just goes through it. Vault Breaker comes down, but it's not going to be enough. Carrier is going to pay for his sins, but he flashes out of the way. Bullet Time to celebrate, and T1 are going to survive.
Yeah, unfortunately, Atlas, we've been talking a lot about 5v5 fights. If Renekton is not a champion in this game, I don't know if Guma's ult didn't get a ton of value in terms of damage, but it helped make sure that KT couldn't follow up further. And they're going to get a turret for this as well, it looks like.
Yeah, all 5 of them are over here. Seismic Shove goes wide. Perfect soaking as much of this as possible, but this is a foregone conclusion. Turret is going to go down, and T1 just
use, and then just having so much pressure that you can take those risks, that you can kind of play a little bit fast and loose and still get away with it. Let's feel very
catch this Renekton making his way forward. He's spotted on that control ward, and there we go. Perfect still going to get tagged with the Shuriken, and Faker comes down. Renekton is very much going to die. It's just whether or not KT can find anything as a result of it, and the answer is going to be maybe mid lane out of turret, and I think, okay, never mind. T1 able to get back here in time. So that means the KT get nothing.
Isaiah still had teleport too, so even pushing up, maybe he's teleporting back in. We're all about to die. We might lose the game right here, but they were at least able to try to chip away at this and get some control of the river back. Perfect has TP in 10 seconds. Oh, too late.
This dragon is still up and available. Faker is going to go golden, but there's the quickness. The bullet time is gigantic, though. And even Faker's sweep is going to work beautifully. Now Def, yes, he pressed the Feather Storm, but he comes down into hell once again. And T1 are going to wipe the map of KT. And Perfect, he just respawned. He's like,
have to try something as KT. You're super far behind, but Faker bought that Seeker's arm guard. He had the extra eco with some of that extra plate gold to pick that up. Didn't finish his Leandri's. Isn't that as interested in that because he just knows that if he has enough money to buy the stopwatch.
T1 at this point in time. Soul Point also, I feel like we're watching the last series. You know, this is kind of like the advantages that B&K were getting where they were the ones picking up all of the neutral objectives, but also winning the fights, winning the map, taking the turrets. And this is the T1 that we grew to expect, that we haven't seen for the last couple of weeks. They are going to be able to break open the base here on the bottom side of the map. And I think that I don't see really a way back for KT unless there is some sort of miracle.
Yeah, I think BDD was maybe hoping for a crazy flank there, but no one's vulnerable.
Well, it's trying to throw some rocks on the ground and things like that. T1 not looking too worried about it. In a turret in the mid lane will be just sort of looked at momentarily, and that does go down. There's still an inner on the top side. Minion Wave in an awkward spot for T1.
You need a flank. You don't have a strong Renekton to do so. He'll just get turned on. He doesn't have TP right now, and T1 just slowly grinding them out of the game.
Yeah, Seismic Shove is going to connect, and did we notice? Not really. That is a Keeper's Verdict just to be channeled here by Ona for fun. Presses Magnet Storm and there's a bullet time, and what does KT actually do to stop from melting?
And the other
especially when there's an Ocean Soul on top of it.
Yeah, the other thing too is that the gap, the damage from Guma is high, but alone isn't enough to rush the Baron. So playing very respectfully here are T1.
Yeah, perfect. Gonna get slammed into the wall here, almost a bait, but not really. It just kind of takes free damage. As Beryl getting vision in. Being able to at least see that the Baron is going to be a problem. He wants to try and escape from the Steadfast presence, but that's getting a little bit difficult. The rest of T1, they're on the map, they're all here, they're ready to start off this Baron, and it is not going to last very long. KT, if they're going to do anything, they need to go in and try and fight this immediately, but Perfect was back home. There was no way for them to do anything about it.
So I said it was going to take a miracle to maybe steal this Baron, take that one away, win the team fight here. 30 seconds after, or for 30 seconds before this Baron expires, the Elder will spawn. So T1, again, don't even have to get permanent damage done here. They would like to get an inhibitor and then just be able to kite back easily, but so far, pretty heroic defense from KT.
Yep, and now we've got Faker having to use that Zhonya's once again. Ona taking a lot of damages. There's the bullet time. That's going to get the doubles, and Zeus just cleans up the back line. Seismic Shove does nothing. Empress Divide does everything, and T1 will cleanly ace KT. They were very patient with that play, but this is going to be the last one of the game. Surgical from T1 here in game number 1, and some well-needed revenge for them.
Welcome to Onivia, League of Legends highlights. These are the best highlights from today's LCK matchup.
This is a button, and Ona is going to ignore it.
He made his feet cold, and then he kept killing the frogs.
Well, Ona is going to look for him. Root Caller does come down, and there is the Weaver's Wall. Flash out from Kyoshik, but Faker follows him immediately. Now BDD is going to turn up, and there's the culling. Ona still level 5, so doesn't have the kick, and meanwhile, Zeus and Perfect are fighting. The flash out, but the flash in. First blood for BDD, and Perfect follows up immediately. That's 3 kills, and is it going to be 3 games?
I mean, it's looking more likely after this moment. Don't count T1.
Getting that shove through, Zeus is still wandering towards the lane. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Carrier is just doing his very best, but there is a Demolish proc, and so man, these high notes are really hurting.
Yeah, KT is really winning everywhere. Getting the advantage here bottom side as well. Some extra plate gold for the Seraphine. See the gold graph showing.
Yeah, Encore is going to come on through here as Ona turns up. Carrier almost dies, actually, before it even happens. As Beryl, he's under the turret, and he's going to die. That means the Deft is also really dead, but at least they get one. There's that. Shenanigans.
It went over to the Leona, though. They lose a plate stats, like times Zenith bladed into turret range. It's like 17.
Yeah, and we need the percentage as well. Oh, as Faker is just dead. Yeah, there's the flash forward, gets the double tap, and BDD, he's on a killing spree. He is too big right now.
Lead that
Yeah.
I have.
As they were the girls from our picture-in-picture before, as another encore going to come in, as Carrier's going to get solar flared as well. There's a Zenith blade from Carrier one more time. Sorry, from Beryl one more time, as Faker is once again fighting BDD. This time the shove into the rocks is going to come on through. He's playing with fire here as Ona comes on over, but Pioshik in perfect position. Sonic Wave not going to find the mark. And now T1 trying to rotate more friends over here to try and help out the mid lane. There's the Weaver's Wall as BDD. He's got the Trigger Siege shield. He just turns around and kills Faker. There's the kick flash as Pioshik is going to flash to get back out once again as Ona. One more turret shot and he's going to die, but that's not going to come on through. And now Deft is going to need to turn up. There is going to be the kill onto Zeus. And now Perfect comes in at the same time. Gumayusi, oh dear. Let's see whether he can get himself out of this one. Perfect is going to have a slice and or dice coming up relatively soon. His flash is also only a couple of seconds away. The flash comes through from Gumayusi though. That is going to send them out of this.
Into the Seraphine is not very fun, especially when there's a Leona to just kind of bully the cow, or pig rather.
Poor.
Yeah. He got there in the end, but
poor Bristle.
Owner is in trouble.
Oh, this is live. Okay, yeah, Daisy's going to get another knock-up as Perfect comes on in. That is going to be the kickback, and that should be enough to disengage. But he has to get the heck out of here. That is going to be a Hextech Drake to be taken.
Yeah. BDD does have teleport. Safely wants to commit to trying to defend some plates here. Topside is taking the grubs here also by T1. Very greedy. It's going to take Ivern a million years to get that dragon, but...
Yeah, very true. All right, Perfect is just flashing forward. This guy is angry. And now Gumayusi completely out of mana, but did manage to throw down the Dawning Shadow at least. And should be able to walk this one off. So,
it's so greedy what T1 did there, and they get punished again.
I feel like we've had 2 games in a row where it's one team just trying to do too much when they're not allowed to, and it's happened now on both sides. Yeah. The minion wave is coming to him now, so there's no real reason for him to step too far. Not going to head towards the brush now, and is just going to look for a back angle. Ona biding his time, but for what is the question as T1 they are going to be able to take this turret on the bottom side of the map, and that is
considering the lead KT had earlier. T1 have really shored that up. I mean,
yeah,
this is with a fasting Senna, as Guma, speaking of.
Yeah, speaking of fasting Senna, he's going to take a lot of damage here, as once again, I mean, the passive from Seraphine actually just
BDD
really
is
doing a whole bunch of work. Is okay, yeah. In a dash away, there's the flash forward from Ona. He just had a feeling that that one was going to be waiting for him, and good patience. BDD not going to be biting off more than he can chew. That was a cannon that he gave up so that he didn't die there.
They had KT have a Herald they can drop. They've got full prio on this dragon. They're even going to push down this turret now.
Yeah, and I think actually because they managed to stave off that gank, they're able to get this turret. Or at least most of the turret, right?
Most of it.
Immediately rewarded for BDD's defensive play. Now maybe immediately punished. Let's just see how this one's going to go as the teleport in. BDD looking for Gumayusi, has to flash. Double TPs means that now T1 find themselves a little bit late to their own party, and it's going to be the outer turret taken. KT now grouped up, ready to go for this dragon as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd be starting that dragon if I were you, Guma. I think KT are taking control.
Oh, perfect. He wants more. Strybreaker going to come on through there as he's doing a lot of damage. And this Renekton, way less anemic than the other one.
Yeah, he's been fed. This is going to be a TP top for Zeus. They're going to try to push mid at the same time.
There's the flash forward as Faker's going to get interrupted. No riding on the wall for you, sir. And the Solar Flare is going to find the sweet spot. That is an interruption, but BDD is just going to zap him down. And Faker finds himself 0 and 4, unfortunately. And KT, they're going to put Perfect in the bottom lane. He's going to take down that inner turret. And it's just like they took off the clothes from the last game and replaced them.
T1 is basically trying to do so much here. They're not okay. It should still be the turret.
Yeah, you can keep talking about the other thing.
I feel like the KT are just not going to fall prey to T1 being like, I get something cross map. They're just not going to let them have anything. BDD?
Yeah, he's going to be in a whole host of trouble. The Dawning Shadow is even going to help out, and the turret loses interest in stopping T1 here. So KT will be able to answer with a dragon.
They finally got him.
Yeah. Infernal Soul as well this game. That's an exciting takedown objective after objective, find these opportunities. The more they can group up and utilize the Ivern and the shields, the more value they're going to get. As, okay, Beryl could find himself in a rough spot, but he's going in! There's a turret! He has a Zenith Blade, and he's getting under there, and he's surviving, for goodness sake! That was way too long to be alive, as now Deft will finally turn up. Speeds himself through here. Perfect is now going to find his entranceway, but KT have already lost one. Seismic Shove is going to knock back the Renekton, and he could be the next little pickup here as they take down the turret. Perfect is going to be alive. He is much less squishy than he was in game number 1. Has another Seismic Shove. This time, he is definitely dead. The Encore! And Deft is able to help take down Ona. Gumayusi follows immediately as Deft... I mean, the Seraphine is doing ridiculous work. He does die. T1 win the fight, but I'm still very impressed with this Seraphine. Yeah. And has been very involved in this one.
In this jungle that supposedly belongs to KT, but the toggle here is showing a different story.
Yeah. Tribrush Ward is going to be important, but you can see Ona looking for an opportunity. I don't think he's going to be able to steal away this Drake. That is going to be the sole point picked up by KT. Now, the Weaver's Wall comes in. Glacial Prison is used. And KT are going to take the Drake and then look for a flash play onto Ona. That is a miss, though, unfortunately. There is now Perfect looks for the pickoff, and Senna is just dead. Seismic Shove used defensively. That is decent peel, but now the culling comes in. The Redemption layered on top. The teleport flank angle, and there is the Encore. Zay is going to be taken out. Deft is answered, though. Carrier going down very low, and KT, they still have their 80 carry because it's BDD.
Yeah, you know what? It's kind of like accidental funnelution, okay? Yeah. All the gold.
Oh my goodness,
and then
it finally worked.
He's got double shields. He's having a good time. Now, we were watching Owner with the vision goggles, so I don't know entirely how T1 gave up their control of the bottom side of the map here, but they completely did, and then Kochik was able to set up brushes here, then Owner looks for a desperate steal.
Really built like this, it was just a secondary support, but in this game you get the shield value, and the AP ratio on that is pretty good, and you have the Ivern as well, so it's just kind of crazy what this Lucian is able.
Looking for another Zenith Blade, doesn't find it this time. He is certainly on I'm going in mode, and that has certainly not changed throughout the entirety of this series. Now, able to get on in here, that Seismic Shove, not really going to find too much there, as Faker's just going to have to back off to the next line. I'm pretty sure from the W from Surround Sound from Seraphine. He also then gets the extra shield, the reapplication of the Trigger Siege shield, and then, like, it's just kind of ridiculous. But T1, yeah, looking for this one. Deft realizing that that wall is in a rough position. Let's see whether they can keep themselves alive. Is Perfect? You are just dead, my friend. The rest of your team were not there.
That was a disaster.
Yeah.
KT, they pushed mid all the way to the inhibitor, but didn't get the inhibitor, so that doesn't mean you necessarily just for free get the back. I think they definitely should have split their backs and tried to send some members who didn't need to purchase items actually over there to contest some prio, because like I said, if T1 get there first, they can win a fight. And Faker just said, no, you're not allowed to come over here. Baron and having the choke point control, get set up brushes, and then just go chase a Sejuani. Just put up the brushes, use your setup.
Oh no. Now just going to be chased out by Beryl. There's a Weaver's Wall as Beryl's getting amongst it, going to stun him up here as the high note is so good. Solar Flare going to connect onto Owner as well. Remember, he does have a GA, so he can keep himself alive for a lot longer.
What if you were a champion with CC, shields, a little bit of healing, and also a bunch of damage?
Yeah.
Would you be Seraphine? I think you would be in this game.
Huh, yeah.
It's actually crazy. All right, now they're going to start the Baron. T1 all around them.
Yeah, there's a Seismic Shove, going to connect onto Perfect. Down to 50%, the Shock Blast is not going to land as Owner. Can he be the hero? He gets it, he steals it! And he is going to go down to the GA. Can they get themselves out alive, though? That's the question. Even Owner is able to survive, but Gumayusi's dead. The Jace is dead as well. There is not a lot of damage left in this composition. And the kick out onto Pyoshik there. Deft is probably going to have the damage if he can actually land a few of these buttons. The smite comes in, and there it goes. Surround sound means that he's just never going to be able to touch the Seraphine, and even though the Baron was picked up here by T1, it's likely that KT can still do some big damage to this base.
I mean, Zeus, he did kill a lot of shields in that fight, but otherwise not able to do a whole lot. Faker alone to defend is going to be so difficult. Guma not really an 80 carry here. They have Baron buff minions.
Oh, another solar flare. That really nailed the minion as Faker's going to go golden. Seismic shove connected in the meantime. That looked pretty good, but Faker is still dead. And Daisy, she's just wandering around. Carrier going the wrong direction. Throws an ulti to Narnia, and he will be taken down. It's BDD collecting his 8th of the game. As Gumayusi slinks into the mist, but he might want to stay there as this game is over. KT roaring back into the series. It would not be a telecom war without
matchup.
3.
Welcome to Onivia, League of Legends highlights. These are the best highlights from today's LCK matchup.
Side of lane is often directly tied to how much you get done in lane and how much you can put the enemy AD carry down, because there's that power trough as BDD.
Whoa, he's just flashing in, looking for Faker here. Can he find the autos? And there's the last one. Picks it up, doesn't die to the turret. Thank you very much, Pioshik, for the help, but that is first
Be happy
blood.
if you're a KT fan.
No. It's 18 to 50. It's kind of absurd. Ona going to move in, look for the spear onto BDD. Is Pioshik going to need to shield him? BDD just able to get the kill. Still, it's answered this time as the jungle is now facing off. Pioshik without too much firepower. And Deft continuing to get zoned. So yeah, I mean, BDD did have that kill. There's a hook onto Carrier there at the same time as Beryl just desperately trying to do anything that he can. But he is now the one burning down. Deft trying to get anything done as that's a last auto, and that is a dead Beryl in the 2v2. And T1 just demonstrating that this bottom lane, they still got it.
I mean, Beryl tried his best to try to get any sort of space here for Deft, but is unfortunately for him unsuccessful. Good spacing there from Guma on the follow-up autos. Takes Beryl out. Deft left alone here. At least he's the one who survives. At least maybe he can get some of that critical farm. Now, BDD picked up a second kill here in mid. It's not an assist, but it is insane, basically. And then this play, the shield this time not quite enough to stop the Nidalee from killing him.
Yeah, BDD is human after all. And here on the bottom side of the map, yeah, Deft and Beryl continuing to have just a terrible time.
Yeah, and I mean, okay.
Oh, speaking of terrible times, to the skies is Faker. Yeah, hands off keyboard here.
It's okay, they've got a backup,
And
baby.
the extender beam not really going to help out there. As okay, Root Caller does come on through. Gumayusi is going to get the heal though from the Primal Surge. And they try to do their best to take down the cannon.
Able to secure
that one grub. And so that is 2 apiece here. KT looking to try and lock down their third. And, oh, I thought that spear was actually going to be able to pick that one up. But good smite there from Pioshik.
You can see T1 just aren't confident to fight this right now. They don't have any vision.
Oh, okay, Light Binding does come on in. Peacemaker down as well as he's just dead. The final spark is going to be exactly that. And Beryl, this is the power of the poke composition being bared down right on top of him.
Getting away with his life, has the heal and will be okay, but you can see the potential of what could have gone wrong there. Good flash from BDD. And we're starting part 2, this time on the Herald, but this time T1 a lot more control than they had the last.
Yep, Ace and Hole going to come on through as there is the depth charge onto the Nidalee. He's burning, but so's Beryl, and there's Faker picking up his first kill. T1 now with a big advantage, but not necessarily in the health bars. Still, the Rift Herald should be secured here. And T1 just making this win lane, win game composition work for them.
And the final spark was massive there as well, ripping through those health bars, making it so that there was no way KT could try to follow up and punish those low health bar champions on the side of T1. And that's the Herald going over. And T1's lead is just becoming so big at this point. Sure, it was a big ultimate from Deft, and yes, he has high damage output, but Guma's got an IE. They have a relatively farmed Lux as well. Does have Zazax in the inventory and completed, so that's some extra burst damage as well.
Yeah, Shirelli is coming in relatively soon as there's some redemption damage, and the flash forward from Beryl. Gumayusi, he does not have his flash available. Root Caller comes down, there's the hook. BDD's like, give him a fourth, and he'll be able to pick that one up. Deft, a little bit sad that he doesn't get the kill. Would be pretty good. Sometimes finally it needs to get some redemption. As here in the mid lane, some plants go up, and so does Daisy and Beryl. He's on the prowl once again. Gumayusi gonna be in trouble here as Perfect is just gonna put him into the death realm. What are you gonna do about it? And the answer is die. And then a whole bunch of stats now go over to this Mordekaiser. Hooks connecting, but the final spark is just going to end them. The all-out comes through from Zeus, and now the flash forward Deft smells blood in the water and wants to get some sort of kill here as Zeus getting himself out. BDD presses W, but I don't know whether they're going to be able to quite find it as finally the kill comes in. The answer's there from KT. The kills are even. It's a bloodbath, but I don't even necessarily know who's
Beryl. And then this final spark
is massive, and without it, this is a huge win for KT. It still is ultimately a big win for them, as Deft is starting to kind of sort of be relevant in this game. I don't know if we should watch the whole thing, but anyway, they end up killing Zeus here as well.
Brian, desperately stop from happening as this game goes on.
Look at this gold here in turrets. 3,000 nearly for T1, all in that turret in the bottom lane.
Not necessarily fully out of the woods, but certainly feeling better than the way Deft is at this point in time, sitting on, like you mentioned before, just the Zeal. All right, going to not necessarily find the target as Carrier just explodes. Beryl's going to be traded. But now BDD, he's on the prowl. The all-out angle is going to be there for Zeus, and he drags the Jace into the team. Gorgeously played from the man in the top lane, and that is going to give
Traded, but also, you know, 4/5 of the health bar of Owner is also gone. As watch this. A wraparound.
beautiful angle.
So clean. So calm.
Like, trying to do a Baron, right? Like, KT have so much engage, so many of these angles to set up to try and answer, that it can be quite difficult, as they are doing the Dragon. It's very easy to do Dragon when there's actually no one around.
Working front to back it. Yeah. Because trying to set up an engage or a pick is so challenging.
Oh, Carrier going to be able to find a bit of a combo. There's the spear to land as well. Beryl is just dead. They find the pick, they set up the vision, and they're going to look for a Baron off the back end of it.
Area has been so essential in finding these bindings to actually punish this aggressive positioning from Beryl.
Well, there is going to be vision going into this Baron pit. Gyoshik does have his flash available. Can he be the hero is the question. The answer is no. Zeus just said, get out of here. The Baron's going to be secured. Daisy's going to be taken down first. Gyoshik is destroyed, and T1 just snowball the fight so beautifully. Yes, Perfect is able to kill a Lux, but I think Carrier did his job this game. Faker going to be able to lock down that kill. It's now 12-8. The gold lead is skyrocketing.
And it's going to get even worse. I mean, the game is not going to end off of this Baron very likely unless KT make a big mistake, but I think it is essentially now over. You know, I was saying I wasn't sure, I wasn't feeling confident that they were going to be able to close this one out with no engage, no traditional engage, no pick potential unless Carrier finds a binding. But he keeps finding them. He found that one on the barrel. They get a Baron. KT absolutely get dunked on in the fight. And then Baron is up, and it's already 3,000 gold. The power, you know, abduct him. And there's no jungle angle here. It's not going to happen. BD goes in on this Cassante, but there's so much follow-up damage from Guma. It looks like Zeus is actually two-shotting him, but it's Guma over the wall just popping him. And yes, Perfect does get the flank and takes Carrier out, but his sacrifice was legendary, and it's probably what's going to win T1 this telecom war.
Yep. Hook is going to miss here as T1 are just going to bear down on this inhibitor. Zeus says thanks for the gap closed as Perfect's going to pull him in. That is Beryl dead for the 7th time this game. And KT just looking like there is absolutely nothing that they can do. We praised them for the draft, but things went so wrong in the early game. There was no way for them to utilize it in any way, shape, or form. Nexus turret's going down. T1 going to get some revenge against KT. They're going to move to 4th place in the LCK, and they're going to send KT to 7th with a victory here. Deft is trying to kite his way out of this one, but he's not going to be able to. He wanted to kite his way out of the early game. This is the way.
These were the best highlights from today's LCK matchup. Click that subscribe button faster than Ramus can say, okay. See you on the next one.